Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling. I'm Bill Mercer. Today, on this edition of our program, we're going to look back to the life of David Von Erich. A salute, a biographical sketch, a tribute, if you wish, to the memory of this great athlete, this fine friend, this hero. A memory of David Von Erich. There is that time immediately after the loss of a loved one, a member of the family, a friend, a hero, that we are totally and completely distraught and emotionally spent. And that's as it should be. But as time passes, and we have the time to reflect and remember, we begin to feel that awareness of this lost one and feel good about the memories, about the humorous things that happen, about some of the sad things, about the injuries, the hurts. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to remember the memory of David Von Erich, a fine athlete, a fine son, and a hero to us. David Von Erich was a great professional wrestler. And before his untimely death, he had held many championships. The Texas Heavyweight Championship, the United National, which is the All-Asian Championship. And in World Class Championship Wrestling, he was the #1 contender for the Heavyweight Championship of the world. He never backed down from a match. He never backed away from an opponent. And he faced the greatest, Harley, the FreeBirds, Ric Flair, and his old nemesis, Jimmy Garvin. He really became the new master of the Iron Claw. And we've compiled some footage of some of the early bouts of David Von Erich and some comments from his opponents. The first match in which he used the Iron Claw. And that was a non-championship match with the former world heavyweight champion, Harley Race.
Race going for the suplex. David blocks it. David blocks Race's suplex, lifts Race. Suplex by David Von Erich on the world champion. Race is on hold. Try for a pin. At 2, the world champion kicks off David Von Erich. It has been simply all David Von Erich, who has dominated Harley Race. Knee lift to the stomach by David Von Erich. Forearm smash by David. Race pinned along those ropes. And then the headbutt. Oh, right on the chin. That's a good way to lose some teeth or to break a jaw. Harley Race desperately slamming that head into David Von Erich's face. Flying mare by Harley Race. David stunned now. Race sizing up David for the knee drop right to the forehead. The knee drop right to the forehead by the world heavyweight champion. David Von Erich in trouble now. The first time in the match he's been in real trouble. Race with another knee drop to the head. And you could hear Kevin Von Erich in dismay slam his fist on the table. Try for a pin. David won't stay down. David Von Erich won't stay down. Fritz and Kevin both yelling, "Get up, David, get up!" Race hooks the head, reverse neck breaker. This could be the first fall, the reverse neck breaker by the world champion on David Von Erich. This could be it. Count of 1, count of 2, and David Von Erich, showing how tough he is, showing he is made of stern stuff, takes that reverse neck breaker and refuses to be pinned. Flying mare by Race. First, it was all David Von Erich for a good 10 minutes. Race has bounced back now, and it's David who's battling for his very life as a contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. David, hurt, stunned. Race sizes up David. Could this be the diving headbutt? The diving headbutt by Harley Race, a favorite finishing maneuver of the World Heavyweight Champion. David in tremendous difficulty. Race has hit him with a reverse neck breaker, with the knee drops, the diving headbutt. The Von Erichs outside the ring are just encased in gloom as David really in trouble now. Race again kicks David right squarely in the forehead, and Fritz Von Erich is incensed at the tactics of Race. Race mounts the ropes, the diving headbutt from the second rope. Oh, he caught him in the claw. He caught Race in the claw. David Von Erich with the iron claw on the world champion. Race diving off for the diving headbutt. David was waiting with the iron claw. David grinding away on the head of the world champion. Look how he's over him. He's sitting right over the world champion. Fritz and Kevin cheering on David Von Erich. Race caught in the iron claw of David Von Erich. The hold that Fritz invented and helped his son David perfect. What a move that was by David Von Erich, catching Race as he dove off the ropes with the claw. Now it's so important for Race. He's got to get to his feet. If he can't, look at the blood pouring out of the side of the head of Race. The blood pouring out of the head of Race. David Von Erich with the iron claw has opened up Race's head. Look at the blood streaming down the face of Harley Race. The iron claw opening up the head of the world champion. The blood pouring out of the head of Race. Race totally desperate now. He's got to do something to get away from that claw. David Von Erich has opened up the head of Race with the iron claw. David trying to trip Race. David puts Race down. The blood smeared over the face, the chest, the arms of the world champion. David Von Erich showing that he can use a claw as well as his father ever has, because David is in there with the man who may very well be the toughest in professional wrestling today. I think Race is out. That's it. David Von Erich has beaten the world champion with the iron claw.
What I'm standing here talking to you about right now is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my entire life. That's talking about a superb athlete and a superb person in his own right. That's David Von Erich. In my mind, if life had not been cut short, the kid would have been world's heavyweight champion. He was a super athlete and a super person, and that doesn't leave a lot left to say.
Texas all over David Von Erich, the back of his truck. Holding the toe hold now. Step over inside. Count of 2 again, and Garvin survives by the last second pull of that right shoulder. A record crowd. Thousands turned away as they wanted to see this International Wrestling Star Wars Reunion Arena. And indeed an international concept. Here's a national battle for the Texas Championship. Garvin from Florida, Von Erich from Texas. The expressive faces of those in the ring and those around, but those all involved in the outcome that could mean fame, fortune, titles, and money. Now Garvin has the body scissors, but David Von Erich seems to be in really a, and he's turning around now, and he's at the leg. Garvin dropped the body scissors because David had that left knee wrapped up. Garvin finds some help from the ropes as he worked his way over. But David's going to help him right back out to the center of the ring. And that leg hurt again as Garvin escaped. David coming down. Looks like he caught his head on the other foot of Jimmy Garvin. A knee drop in as Garvin working on David Von Erich. And David now stunned and shaken as this battle seesaws back and forth, flows, ever flowing from one offensive attack to the other. Surging like two armies, striking, battling, fighting, regaining position. Unleashing some tremendous blows. Von Erich now running knee drop into the jaw and the head of gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, and that might do it. But they're in the ropes and underneath and out on the apron. Garvin has it broken, but David goes to the claw hole. That's right by the ropes, and that will escape. And Garvin very fortunate there that he managed to, he's so close to the apron into the ropes. There's the claw, the vicious, the dangerous claw. Taught to David Von Erich by the master of it all, Fritz Von Erich. And now Garvin comes back, as we said, this ebb and flow of attack, counterattack, defense, offense. And with a reverse chin now. Very close to what might be a sleep hold as Garvin moves in. And David sinking, sagging. The Texas Heavyweight Championship on the line here. The belt, the crown, the money. And still the gallery chants, "Go, David, go," as he pulls the hair of Garvin and undoubtedly trying to maintain his consciousness as Garvin continues to pressure David Von Erich. But David is still in control, driving the adrenaline through his body. Hammering in, taking it away. David Von Erich pulls it back. Garvin, though, pulled him back with the hair. The gorgeous Jimmy Garvin requesting a simple answer from David Von Erich. Do you submit or not? Which would be an emphatic no on the part of Von Erich. That hand tells more of the story. As gorgeous Jim Garvin tries to control David Von Erich, but has not been so successful as yet. Stops there. Garvin takes the blow. Garvin headed him toward the buckle, but David Von Erich turned him about. And it is Garvin now who sees stars and feels the effects of a headache into that corner buckle. It's David Von Erich who comes to the attack. Not enough there, count of 3. Just a little late. David Von Erich going to the count of 2, and it takes a count of 3 to pull it off. Missed the right hand. Got him on a sleep hold set up here by David Von Erich. Missed the claw, came back with a sleep hold, and now gorgeous Jimmy Garvin can go night-night.
The wrestling world suffered a great loss when God came and took David Von Erich. I think with that in mind, the people that were his friends and the people that loved him suffered a greater loss when God took David Von Erich. And I guess nobody knows him like I knew him. I knew what he liked to eat for breakfast. I knew what made him happy. I knew what made him sad. And I fought the man in the ring that made him famous. And nobody fought him as hard as gorgeous Jimmy Garvin did.
So far, David hasn't had to come in. Now he comes in. And it's toe-to-toe and blow for blow. Except Hayes is slowed now. David Von Erich into the corner buckling with. He'll take Perry across the ring, up and in, and almost out. Perry Gordy. David Von Erich handling the big man, the biggest of the FreeBirds, running knee to the head. David and Kevin both who come in, and they're going to have a triple truck, a flying drop kick.
I guess literally thousands of people, media and everybody, have been asking us our reaction to the tragedy, what happened to David Von Erich. This will be our only public statement about it. And I guess really the only thing to say is it was a tragedy, because obviously his family and his friends and those that loved him suffered a great deal more than we did. But we feel a loss too, because we've lost a great warrior. And I know that might be hard to accept coming from us because we fought him so many times. But the one thing that he did do is he fought what he believed in. And even though what we believe in never agreed, and it never will, you have to respect somebody that fights what they believe for. And he always fought what he believed for. And it's a shame, and it is a tragedy. But I can't sit here and tell you that the feud will end between the Von Erichs and the FreeBirds. It never will end, because there's only room for one of us here.
Now Flair has gotten his opening, and he is putting on the pressure.
No.
Really driving home the champion's desire to maintain that championship, not lose it. From Texas to a Texan. There's the claw, ready, and Flair may have pulled the hair. David Manning looking out at the crowd, they agree. Von Erich agrees, but Flair disagrees, as you would expect.
Sit down and keep your mouth shut. You bought to look at it, not talk to it.
There's a spinning, twisting wrist lock. And David Von Erich is in trouble now. 15 minutes gone. Oh, David Von Erich in charge in the first part of this bout, the first 7 minutes or so. And now Ric Flair is taking charge. He got that wrist twisted until the circulation is cut off in his hand. And Ric Flair stands in charge for a moment. Not only twisting the wrist, but also into the shoulder. David Von Erich trying to figure a way out of this. Ric Flair rolls him over, trying to roll him down for a pin. 1, 2. Just got that on. A tremendous amount of strength exerted. Once again, back. 2. That's the big problem for the man on the bottom. He has to exert so much effort, so much strength to get that shoulder up. Ric Flair questioning the amount of count and how quickly and where it should be. And David Manning doing an outstanding job of getting in and watching those shoulders. David Von Erich trying to get out of this problem with the left arm. He needs to clear the area right now of Ric Flair. Some way to give himself a chance to recoup. That's one. Another. And into the post, the corner buckle, and David didn't get the respite he wanted. He just got more of a headache for his trouble. So Flair goes to the attack. David trying to fight back and get back in the match. And this may do it. The sleep hold. David Von Erich with his finishing sleep hold. About it. Well, that's not going to finish now. Now it may. Flair tried to escape to the corner. David helped him, and now Flair's a little more groggy. Oh, Flair may go. David Von Erich close to the heavyweight championship as he keeps the sleep hold on Ric Flair. Almost as devastating as his claw hold, David Von Erich and the sleep hold. And now Flair trying to reach around, trying to find a way. He goes up and back with a suplex off that sleep hold. A great job by Flair just getting himself out of the problem. The count is up to 6, and they're both at it again. David Von Erich turns it around and flips Flair. Claw set up, missed it. David missed it, slipped off. Flair just helped with a glancing, and now he has it. No, he doesn't. It's off again. David Von Erich trying to get through the strength of Ric Flair for the claw hold. But those knees to the midsection slowed him up. Well, they go back to the heavy work. Here comes Flair off the rope. Flair has his own blow blocked, and David comes firing through with a big right hand. Another one, and Flair is groggy. Flair opens up with a kick, comes back with the elbow, and they battle it out now, trying to find. Here comes Flair. David Von Erich watching. Flair comes up. 20 minutes. And David Von Erich grabbing Flair and tossing him out.
attack again. Here comes Flair. A knee to the neck and head. 1, 2, and not quite enough for 3. Oh, that was close. That was startlingly close. Wide body slam. This may do it. Oh, no, Flair got out. And David Von Erich ever so close. How to put him on a reverse shoulder stand. 1, 2, and rolling off this Flair. Over the top rope. Ric Flair disqualifying himself. Ric Flair throwing David Von Erich over the top rope. David Manning is counting. David Manning indicated to Flair that no way you're going to disqualify yourself. So he just counted David Von Erich, probably indicating that Flair was trying to protect himself. Trying to come back with a suplex now, so David Manning would not allow the automatic disqualification to roll up 1, 2, but they kick out. Oh, interesting, the decision by David Manning, and a suplex by David Von Erich. Trying to get in on top. 1, 2, and Flair flails out of there some way. A tremendous bout, a world-shattering bout. And Flair now begging for mercy, worrying about the situation. I'm sure he is worried. Flair doesn't want to go across the ring, and here he goes into the quarter buckle and up and over. The claw on Ric Flair. David Von Erich has had the sleep hold. David Von Erich now has the claw. David Von Erich, the epitome of Fritz Von Erich, grasping the head of the champion. Holding. David Von Erich holding Flair, seeking the World Heavyweight Championship. Flair continues to come down. Flair bleeding. David has split his scalp.
Professional difference has kept me from ever knowing David Von Erich on any other level except through athletic competition. But he was a tremendous competitor, a tremendous man, and I'm the World Heavyweight Champion, and I'm telling you, I have nothing but respect for the memory of David Von Erich. I can tell you right now, he was close to being the World Heavyweight Champion. With or without the World Heavyweight Championship, he died a champion, and he will always be remembered as a champion.
David Von Erich, as a person and as a wrestler, was a true champion. I refereed more matches of David Von Erich than probably any other referee in professional wrestling. His talents, he had a great gift, and he knew how to take it to its fullest. This is a great tragedy for professional wrestling. You know, a life goes on, but in the people's hearts, in my heart, and especially anyone that's a Texan, they're going to remember David Von Erich for what he was, a true champion.
We all grow up with dreams of being a certain somebody someday, with heroes as our examples. David Von Erich grew up with his own dreams and his own heroes. He wanted to be, in addition to a professional wrestler, he wanted to be a cowboy. He was a ranchman, and this was the dream of David Von Erich. in times of crisis, a tragedy, or a great loss. We gain strength and sustenance from our faith and belief in God and the family. In the time of great need, the Von Erichs have drawn closer together through their family, still remembering the great times with David Von Erich.
Well, he's in a better place, and no question about that. You know, the big help is knowing that he is there. You know, signed up till about 5 or 6 years ago, I would have said I knew he was there, but there's a little more doubt in my mind. It's not there any longer. It hasn't been for a couple of years. All this is done now is just made me realize that your mom and I and all you guys, we're going to all be joining David up there sometime. All together. You know, fellas, really, we pass through this life. It's just a proverbial drop in the ocean compared to a sea of eternity. It's just like a minute or two in the Lord's conception of time. Yeah. And we're put here to find him, and then the eternity starts when we get with him. Old Dave's already there. It's all a matter of how you look at it. That's all. All we can do, fellas, is remember the great memories we have. We had old Dave for a long time, 25 years. It was a great 25 years. As Brother McComb said the other day at the service, he did 75 years of living in that 25 years. He really did.
Yeah, he lived a lifetime. 25 years.
Yeah. Michael, you're the one that looks most like old David.
Yeah.
It's amazing about that short hair trigger temper you got just under that shirt. You never control that.
You know, I'll tell you.
Kind of learned to do. You're going to go a long way in this business.
You know, Dad, all these darn wrestling magazines were going on about how Dave is the most vicious man in professional wrestling, and Mike is a splitting image of Dave, and he has your qualities, that aggressiveness, and you know, like Kerry and I were talking about earlier today, Dave wanted that world championship more than anything in the world, and that world championship is going to be around the Von Erich waist. It has to be, not only for our family, but for Dave.
Son, it's going to be a memorial to David, and I have no question. You're all three, at some point in your professional lives, going to have the world title. It's a question now of which of you two is going to be the next world champion.
Either one of us is okay with me. Yeah, just one of us. And you know, when we go into that ring, we want to be the #1 contender. We don't want there to be any doubt in anyone's mind that we are the best and that we should be the world champion. And there won't be.
That's right, Dave. You know, there's a lot of people debate because when you go, you don't want any question. You are the #1 contender. So when you take that title, there's no question in anybody's mind in the world that you are the best that there is and the best there ever was. All in David's memory.
Fritz, I appreciate your taking the time, visiting with us here where David grew up. I guess he was practically born here, wasn't he?
Yes, Bill, he was. Old Dave was almost 4 years old when we moved out here, and this is his life right here. Dave was raised right on this place.
I think we always saw the personality of David in the outdoor, the farm, the ranch situation. I'm sure he learned all that here. He grew into the country.
That's right. He loved the outdoors. These boys were raised hunting and fishing and farming and gardening and raising hay, loading hay. It's just a great way to bring these youngins up.
You know, one of the things that we keep being asked by all the fans who are concerned, and sincerely concerned as we've seen, is what happens to the Von Erichs now? It is as though this would put an end to something, but actually, from what I gather from you, this is only a beginning.
Well, there's no question about it. It amazes me. Some of the fans think, boy, you know, David is gone. What are they going to do? Hey, David's been an integral part of our lives, no question about that. Right. We loved him to death, his mother and I and his brothers. But David is gone and life does go on. I tell you, Bill, if I hadn't been a Christian and my children and my family, this would have been extremely hard. And it was. It was a terrible shock to us. But when it comes right down to it, brother, we know where David is. A few years ago, I probably couldn't tell you I know for sure where he is. I do now. I can tell you I know where he is. Thank God he's born again. But he's up there feeling sorry for us, Bill. You know, we have to remember that this life that we go through, this short period of time in eternity, it's like a drop in the ocean of eternity.
What they say, borrowed time.
That's right. It's just a short period of time. We go on then and, you know, we'll finally join David there. Meanwhile, as I said, life goes on. Now, these boys, you got to remember that mic is coming on and coming on strong. And if there ever was an image of someone, it's Mike. When you look at him, he looks exactly like David. These childhood pictures, Bill, we look back into this day at the same age. I can't tell David from Mike.
Yeah.
And the odd thing is, it's the disposition and the talent, the wrestling and athletic talent that's there. Mike will, after a couple of years, he will step into David's category. So when you ask me, does life go on? What are we going to do without Dave? We're going to miss him, and we'll never forget David. It's like the wind. His name will go on, because when you look at my sons, you're looking at people that now will become totally and completely awesome, because these boys have decided they're all three going to be world champions, and one of them, Kevin or Kerry, will be the next world champion, because now they plan to do it as a memorial to their brother David. Bill, I don't know if you realize it, but the world heavyweight title was the biggest thing in David's life, aside from Jesus Christ now. And he now is not with us, but his brothers are. And when I say you're going to see awesome people out there, there's a bunch of folks they've got to beat, because when the time comes, they do want to be the very best when they go in that ring for the World Heavyweight Championship. So that when they come out with that belt, in David's memory, this is what's going to make it a situation that's just going to be unbelievable. They're going for their brother. It's all for David. They will, one of them will be the next world champion. I have no question about it. Our lives will be dedicated to that from here on.
Going back just a little bit, the outpouring around the nation and around the world. We knew David was popular. We knew the Von Erichs were popular. Were you even surprised at this tremendous outpouring of real sympathy that came and memorial to David?
Bill, I was surprised with the numbers of the flowers. You know, everything in this area, from North Dallas to Louisville to Denton, there wasn't a flower left. Mm-hmm. They all sent them for David. And yes, I was surprised at the turnout. But one thing that helped all of my family in a tremendous way was a Christian warmth and love and respect that was displayed literally by thousands of fans that came to the church where the service was. And
I think respect is a real word.
Respect, that's right. Respect for the way things were, and it was just so touching. I'll never in my life forget these fans. We considered, you know, a closed service, private service. But these fans David belonged to the fans just like he belonged to his family. We could never have done that, and I just thank the Lord that we went ahead and had an open service so that the people that made David and the people that loved him could come and be a part of all this. And David would have loved it. He loved his fans. Anyway, brother, we're going to miss David, no question about that. He's, as I've said before, Bill, when you take a child, even when you have other children, when you lose that child, at that time, he's the only child that you have. It's our second son, you know, that we've lost, our oldest boy. And there's some consolation there, too, because David was only 2 years old when Jackie died. And there's no question he's with Jack right now. And I'm sure Jack's showing him around. I've made a lot of mistakes raising my children, Bill, like I'm sure other people have. One mistake I didn't make. I kicked their tails when they needed kicking. And when I told them something, that's the way it was. But I loved them to death. And I used to worry about making sissies out of them, because to this day, if I want to grab that Kevin or that Kerry or that David and hug and kiss them, man, nobody ever called me a sissy, and I don't think they will for that.
Everybody said that David was one of the greatest, toughest competitors, maybe the toughest they'd ever met, but also one of the politest, sincerest people they've ever known, and you can certainly be proud of that.
And I'm proud of that, and I'm just proud of that boy. The Lord gave him to us for 25 years, Bill, and they're 25 glorious years.
Such a short time, but
well, it's a
great time. Too.
Yeah, brother, but you know, one of the ministers at the service stated the folks there that, you know, David did a lot of living that 25 years,
yes.
Probably 100 years worth, and he did.
That was a joyful service. I didn't feel depressed at all. I felt sorry for David, but I felt really good because, as you said, there is more to this.
That's right, Bill. Let me tell you why precisely you felt good. Young Gary Holder, who's a really up-and-coming evangelist and has done a tremendous amount of good for David and Kevin and Gary's spiritual life as well as mine. Gary was one of the ministers there, and Gary made heaven seem so real. I mean, we just stopped crying. Yeah. Because, boy, when he painted that picture, he was so firm in his mind, hey, David's up there. He's feeling sorry for us here. Yeah. And he spent all his time praising God. And, brother, with the way Gary presented that, it was just tremendous. And it painted that firm picture in my mind I'll never forget. And he's just a wonderful guy, and Gary could be another Billy Graham someday. He's just that good. He's the Lord's man. Anyway, Bill, brother, you're welcome anytime. The last time you were here, you recall we were shooting ducks over there.
Yeah, we were David and I.
Yeah, David and Kevin and Kerry and myself, and I don't believe you killed anything, but...
well, I can't hit the side of the wall, but, you know.
Well, the problem was you shoot in the wrong direction. The ducks were the other way.
Thank you, President.
Thank you, Bill. You rascal. We've been together a long time, haven't we?
25 years, then. Back when you looked, we both looked young.
True.
On World Class Championship Wrestling, we have saluted the brilliant career, the outstanding and full life of 25-year-old David Von Erich.
Better look over what I got, 'cause it won't last long. Better look over what I got. Long live pain. Long live pain. The price we pay to live is fair, but it holds us down, takes our strength. There ain't nothing to do here except wait. Everybody I know is gonna end up the same. Long live pain. I better look over what I got. Long live pain.